Hi, this video is to show you 7 easy ways to manage your money better. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I am going to talk about the 7 steps or 7 ways in which you can use to manage your money better. Before I proceed, financial literacy is a critical skill that helps individuals to manage their money effectively. And these 7 steps would give you some ideas about where you are doing exactly what you should be doing and where you perhaps needs to review your processes in managing money. The first one is you manage your cash flow effectively. How do you do that? By tracking your cash flow regularly to ensure that you are earning more than you are spending. That is important. So your cash inflow should be greater than your cash outflow. This helps you identify opportunities to increase savings and reduce expenses. Managing your cash flow is a key to financial skill. So knowing also when the cash inflow will be received and when cash outflow will occur, which makes knowing when you receive income such as either money paid by your customers that comes into your account or money that is paid from your payments that come into your account, and knowing when payments will need to go out to your service providers such as your internet provider, your rent, your car loan, knowing when those things goes out and the insurance. So you want to ensure that the time that there's a cash flow and the time there's cash outflow, cash inflow, and cash outflow is relatively close. For example, if you are subscribing to services like electricity, and then your pay date is the second weeks of every month, you want to ensure that the time you pay for those services is probably going to be Friday if your payday is Thursdays, and it comes just close to the time that you receive your pay, so that you can make payment for all these services as you receive your pay and then have some savings from your pay. So this is important because once they are separate, the problem is that you may end up paying penalty if you have late payment, or you pay interest on the overdue payments, and it also real your credit. Now, number 2, you need to have a budget and stick to it. Now, setting and following a budget requires financial discipline, which is an important part of financial literacy. By living within your means, you reduce the risk of overspending and make wise financial decisions. So if this is not there, if you don't have a crisp boundary about your budgeting, and if you don't have any set budget, then you are more likely to overspend. So ensuring that you spend within your means that you need to have your budget, look at the things you spend on, and do not subscribe for things you don't really need to use. For example, if you subscribe for gym and you've not been to gym at least for the time that you should be there, then there's really no need for you to have a gym subscription. So you should be paying for things that you are not subscribed to. For example, if you are not going to be in gym for the whole year, and you are sure that you might likely travel or you might at some point stop going to gym, then you should not have a fixed contract for 12 months. You should look at some open contract terms whereby you can stop at any point in time and cancel your gym and then register for your gym again. So looking into your budget and setting a clear budget is an essential part of financial skills. Number 3, you need to understand the difference between good debts and bad debts. This is important. Sometimes we buy things that are very expensive, flashing, but do we really need them? And can we convert them to assets and sell them? So these are some problems. So typically, knowing how to make debt work for you is a sign of a good financial knowledge. So you have to make your debt to work for you. It has to generate income. It is important to understand the difference between good debts, which improves your long-term financial position, and bad debts, which tends to be consumption driven. So bad debt sometimes is you just spending, you are actually not having any benefit. There are good debts, there are bad debts. For example, if you buy very expensive brand new car and you don't really need a expensive brand new car to get to work and come back, and then you keep spending on that car by repaying the car price or loan, and also servicing the car and many other costs that are associated with the car, it's probably not a good debt from my point of view. But if you have things like asset, like property, for instance, and then you have low on the property and then you service the low by paying interest every week or every fortnight, relatively that should be a good debt if the market in that location is good enough to increase the capital value of the property. And there are many other type of good debts as well that you might also want to look into or do some research to look at whether these good debts actually have any future cash inflow that you may benefit from. Number 4, you need to diversify your investment. Diversification is a key concept of financial literacy. By spreading your money across various investments, you reduce the concentration of risk and protect your wealth in tough economic times. For example, you may have some of your savings in the bank accounts and some in fixed deposit. You may have some in buying of stocks like shares from the capital market. You may also have some in property. Having money all over these places are important. You may also have some pension that you save, some pension you saving. So all of these are important. And sometimes people just have the information investment is good and they simply put all their money in investment. Having sufficient amount in your savings account is very important, because at a point where you need a short-term cash and you need to fall back to that savings account becomes very essential, especially when you invest in things of good debt and then you lost your income. Could be you lost your job or you lost your business, and then you need to service those good debts. You may need to fall back to what you have in your savings account for the meantime until you find something else, or you may break your fixed deposit if that is a possibility with the bank. So this is why you need to have multiple investments, putting money in different ways. And all of this will bring some level of interest. I know that savings account has a very little interest, and also even term deposit or fixed deposit, if you like, has very little interest, but they are kind of service that you can fall back to in tough economic time. Number 5, you need to understand the financial assets and their pros and cons. So number 5, financial assets such as cash, checks, and banks can either help or hurt your financial position. Understanding your financial assets and how they work is an important part of financial literacy. Sometimes you may hear stories that this person purchased this amount of stocks at this value and then they sell it when the stock price goes up, and then you jump into stock buying. You may be taking a very high risk, especially when you have not really understood how the capital market works and what type of investments are there in the capital market. Some are high risk investments. So these are things you may not be familiar with. So understanding your financial assets is important before making decisions to go into them. Number 6, you should be aware of your financial strengths and weaknesses. Reflecting on your financial capability helps you make better financial decisions and prioritize your needs. Neglecting to reflect on patterns of behavior can lead to serious financial mistakes. So sometimes it might be good to reevaluate about your spending behavior. Where does your money go to? And sometimes people just ask, where did it go to? I just received my wages 3 days ago. Inflation problems have taken my money. Sometimes not really inflation problem. It just understanding your strength and your weaknesses just going to make a lot of differences about how you handle money, your disciplines with money, and many other things. For example, if you're someone who likes to spend money because you see the money sitting in your bank account, then you may need to have a different bank account that does not have any credit card attached to it, does not have any debit card attached to it. The only way you can withdraw from that account is to go to the bank and withdraw over the counter. Now, when you receive income, immediately you transfer some amount you usually save into that account, which means if you are actually going to bank to withdraw money, it's actually in a serious situation. So with that in mind, you spend within your limit. Once your account is down to zero, you have nothing to spend, and then you have to wait for the next pay to come. And you could also let the banks know that you wouldn't want your account to go on overdraft. And in that will control how you end up with some debt with the bank. So understanding your financial strength and weaknesses is important in terms of your spending behavior. Number 7, you set financial goals and have a system in place to achieve them. Planning for your finances involves in setting goals and putting measures in place to achieve them. Having a system and habit in place to achieve your goals is key to financial success. Now, generally, you should have things like budget. You should have things you need to achieve in a year. You should have a set targets of amount of savings you wish to achieve. Some people would have will be looking at savings for Christmas, for example, and be having like $5 savings into their grocery card in every grocery or in every shopping. That itself is a good practice. If you trust that that same provider of that service is sustainable and is going to be there when the money is needed. You could also have financial goals like how much you need to save in your pension accounts as at the time you retire. Have your financial goal, how much you need to save monthly, weekly. So having a clear goal is important in managing your money better. And that also helps you to structure your income according to your capability and your financial appetites. And that also helps you to set a better financial position for yourself. This way I will stop for this video for now. If you do like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, and more will come shortly.